Hi, this is Jared Pollock, founder of Entre Results, author of Entre Balance, author of Entre Business, founder of Entre Results Academy, along with my wife, Amy Pollock. Excited to welcome you to the Entre Results class, Designing a Better Business. It is great to have you with us today. I know you are looking to scale up your small business. You're looking to grow. You're looking for some strategy. You're looking for some planning. You're looking for some insights. You want to get to the point where your business could potentially run without you, or you want to create a business that gives you great joy. And we're going to start today just giving you a little overview of one strategy and planning activity that's going to help you thinking critically about your business and moving you in the right direction. I love the fact that you're seeking out education today. That's something that's always been important in my life. I've been an improvement-oriented person. I've always loved to read. I've always loved to learn. And I loved spending time with entrepreneurs in the small business community. And so about 11 years ago, I wanted to be in a situation in my own personal life where I had a reasonable amount of time and a reasonable amount of money to be able to do the things that I wanted to in life. And so I was looking at different businesses to start, and I came across this idea of life coaching, and it really resonated with me. And so I started to do more research on life coaching and realized that, yes, I love helping people have a better life. But then I started researching business coaching, and I love entrepreneurial ventures. I love business. I love everything about helping small companies grow. I love the different elements of business, whether it be helping gain people in the organization and develop leaders, or sales and marketing. The financial side of it was interesting for me. And so I kind of looked at business coaching, life coaching, business consulting, life consulting, and really kind of formed a blend that helped create a dynamic business coaching company with a life twist called Entre Results. So it's really about helping small business owners create amazing businesses. And a lot of our attention goes to the business side of things. How can we grow and scale up and design a better business? But the reason for that is so that we all can have a better life. And sometimes we get lost in the mix of growing a business. We forget why we created to begin with it. So you as the leader, you as the owner can have a better life, and certainly so your team members can have better lives too. And so that's a little bit of how Entre Results got started. And we've grown over the years, and we've written books, Entre Balance, Entre Business, created a lot of content, done a lot of speaking, and really just passionate about helping the small business community, both locally, nationally, and internationally. And the other element that we love is we love giving back. We love giving back to missions, locally, international missions. And so it's just another thing that helps us drive the passions that we have in life. And so happy you're here today. And a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, just kind of a quick overview of today. Listen, there are so many ways, so many topics in regards to designing a better business. I'm going to let you peek behind the door a little bit of just a quick overview of one of the major tools or platforms we use with organizations to help them design a better business. We're going to give you a little bit of a strategy that you can start thinking through. And I'm not going to give you the exact tool that we use, but I'm going to give you some points. And we're going to go over some different examples of how to create some things. And so hopefully you're going to walk away with today with the beginning stages of starting thinking through your strategy, start thinking through your planning. You're going to walk away with an idea of where you want to go. You're going to start thinking where you're going to want to go, and you're going to start thinking through all the different steps that need to be put together from a strategy standpoint in order to get there, in order to build a better business. Now, this is really important, especially for small businesses and small entrepreneurs, because really there's a lot of things that are challenging right now in your world. First of all, your time. Many of us are busy, and busy is the word. And so this strategy is going to help start thinking through how can you get to the point where your business doesn't run you completely and you'll have more time and more freedom to work on the business as opposed to just in the business. Kind of having a better plan will help reduce your risk. It will help reduce your stress level, and it will help put your business in a position for longevity. So it's just not a statistic as you read about the statistics of how short small businesses last. Some of you here would like to exit your business long-term or short-term. This will give you a plan of how do you put yourself in a position to potentially sell your business so you can walk away, or maybe you want to have a generational business that you'll pass down to future generations, and you have to really think farther in advance. So a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, small businesses, are just thinking in the here and now, and there's something for that, but this today is about building a better business, designing a better business that'll put you in a great spot 90 days from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 25 years from now. And so we're just going to jump into a couple quick slides that are going to give you a little bit of an overview of some things that you need to think about as you grow and scale up your business. So as we look at here, we're going to start with kind of the foundation of the business. These are foundational pieces of the business. And one is guiding principles, also known as core values. One is purpose. And some people call this mission. Why do you exist as an organization? What would be missing if you were not around? And then we kind of start thinking really big picture. What's that 25-year or that 10-year long-term goal result that you want to have for your organization, that you can look back 25 years and 10 years from now and say, this was a business that I'm happy that I created. This is a business that did some extraordinary things. And so let's kind of break that down just a little bit. And obviously this is a nuggets we're going to go over. We have a much more extensive process where we have detailed planning and processes that goes through each one of these on how to do that. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed and stuck as we go through it, listen, I'm giving you a 30,000 point view to get your brain start going. But these are things that take time. It takes effort. It takes coaching. It takes help. It takes an outside perspective to really put these things in place in a major way. So the first thing is guiding principles or core values. I know a lot of times this is your code of ethics for your organization. And a lot of people don't have these articulated. They might have a value system that they think they know about. Some of the team members think they know about, but it's not actually written down. And so if you don't have your guiding principles or your core values written down, you are behind the 8 ball, even if you're a self-employed professional, even if you are just a one-person company, but certainly if you have a team members. I know, recently I got some pushback from some folks on guiding principles and core values. But once they got ingrained in the business, what it did is it transformed the hiring process. So now as they bring on new people for the organizations, they bring people on that fit within the culture of the business. So let me just give you an example. Sometimes people use the word integrity as a potential guiding principle or core values. They want to have an integrity-based business, or you want to have a business that you interact with your clients with integrity. Well, I think it's a little bit vague and a little bit of a weak in terms of description. And so one of the clients I work with, they say, we do what we say we're going to do. That is their definition of integrity. We do what we say we're going to do. Now, it's so interesting because as they articulated that and they wrote that down, literally, not only 2 weeks later, they're interviewing a person for a position. And on the interview itself, the person that got interviewed said, hey, listen, I do what I say I'm going to do. And we realized immediately, because we articulated those guiding principles, we knew that person culturally would have been a good fit for the organization already. And so then we just interviewed based on the skill set. So that's why these are really important. And there's a lot to this, but also if you're looking to let someone go, I've worked with organizations where someone brings in a lot of money for the company At the same time, if someone breaks a guiding principle or a core value, they had to make a tough decision to let that person go, even if they were bringing money in for the organization. So these are the code of ethics for how you guide your business. Purpose is the same way. I'm not going to go into this as much detail, but what is your mission? Why do you exist in the world? And that's the purpose is something that I love helping create with organizations, because once you get that mission in place, it can drive everything for the company. Then you look at the 25-year or 10-year extraordinary result. I know, I'll give you some examples. So like some companies choose to only start with a 10-year result. And so they might say, listen, I have 3 people on my team now, but 10 years from now, I want to be a 50-person organization that is giving back massively to 3 different communities. So we want to expand our geographic location, not just where we're at now, but into 3 different cities. You want to have a certain amount of team members. We want our revenue to be at a certain level, really thinking way far in the future. And so what happens is you might not have complete clarity of where you want to go, but once you get that 10-year extraordinary results in place, then you can work your way backwards. And that kind of, it's like everything works towards pushing towards that 10-year extraordinary results. Or perhaps you want to go larger with a 25-year extraordinary result. I want to be the leading company in my industry. I want to be the number 1 plumber in all of North America. I want to be the number 1 HVAC in southeast part of the United States. I want to fill in the blank for your 25-year or 10-year extraordinary results. And the other thing you want to look at, certainly as a foundational piece, is the marketing piece or the target market or ideal client. This is super crucial, very, very crucial, because some people just say, hey, I'll work with anybody. And that doesn't work well from a marketing standpoint, because when you start investing money and scaling up your business and you're starting to put money into different areas, you don't have a good return on your investment. You waste a lot of money if you don't have the target market identified. So who is your target market? You want to look at a few things. You want to look at, geographically speaking, you want to look at psychographic. You want to look at economic. You might say my target ideal client is a homeowner located in these 5 zip codes that has a income level, household income of $150,000 to plus per year. That's a working professional that's busy, that doesn't want to do it themselves. We also focus mostly on the female demographic, and sometimes you can get even more detailed than that. But that's just an example of your target market. And now certainly you're okay with taking clients outside of that target market, but you need to have a focus. You need to have a target. We spend extensive time working on this with our clients. This can be a launching point for you to really create a lot more leads for your business. This is crucial. And we look at 3 differences: the organizational promise and the metrics for the promise. So what makes you different or unique from your competition? And then what are you promising your competition? I'll give you an example. I rarely do this, but I got a mail out the other day, and I just always like to read about different people, how they market. And this organization, this accounting organization, they had a 110% money back guarantee. That was their organizational promise. They promised that if you're not absolutely satisfied within a certain amount of time going through their process, they will give you a 110% money back guarantee. And so, sometimes you hear those guarantees. A lot of businesses that it takes a lot of time to develop your guarantee, but once you get that guarantee, it becomes kind of a hub for part of your marketing strategy. One of my favorite promises of all times, when you think big pictures, you think of FedEx. You think they originally guaranteed overnight delivery before anyone else could do it, and that was their organizational promise. And so as you look at that organization, their metrics for the promise would be, did they deliver overnight or not? And when you promise something, it's not something that you strive for. It's something that you do 99.99% of the time. And so as you look at FedEx and you look at their promise, you look at their guarantee before, They guarantee delivery, and they delivered 99.99% of the time. And if they didn't, they made a huge, massive deal about it. So I know you guys are thinking, oh my gosh, I wish we would go over more with this. I understand these things take time to develop. They take coaching, they take feedback, they take more tools, and we have a lot of tools that help you develop this in a mighty way, but I wanted to give you some nuggets before we jumped on to the next slide. Now this is where you start breaking down the foundation into smaller chunks. You have your financial goals, your financial results. You break it down into 3 years. You break it down into 1 year. You break it down into quarterly financial metrics. Now, here's the thing. When I talk about financial goals, I'm talking about on your financial statements, what are some of the financial results that you want to have? And this is actually an area a lot of small businesses struggle with. And we at Entre Results are not CFOs, nor are we accountants, but we help you look and think through your numbers, and knowing your numbers is absolutely key. This was one of the biggest mistakes I made, the first probably 3 or 4 or 5 years of business coaching, to be honest with you. I mean, we've been doing this for so long now, but at the initial stages of business coaching, I remember just focusing so heavily on business development with sales and marketing, helping companies absolutely crush new clients, growing their business, growing that top line. But sometimes you can grow too quickly. And even if you grow quickly, it can put you in a difficult situation. And so we really have honed in on talking about the numbers with organizations and looking at the finances, because honestly, it's kind of easy to grow a business quickly, but sometimes you have to make sure you don't grow too quickly to make sure you're in a good cash position to grow and scale up. So anyway, just this helps reduce your risk if you haven't thought these through. That's why you hear of a lot of companies that quickly go out of business and they were growing fast. Why did they go fast? Well, they did things in a way that didn't grow with wisdom. And so knowing your financial metrics is key. And so we look at the financial statements, and I don't want to talk up or talk down to you. We look at the profit and loss statement or the income statement. Do you know yours? Do you look at them? Do you know what they're telling you? We look at the balance sheets. What is that telling you? And so as you look at 3 years, 1 year, and quarterly financial results, you'll choose certain categories that you will track over 3 years, over 1 year, over quarterly. And it might be, you might start with your revenue. We're going to track your revenue in 3 years, projecting 1 year, projecting quarterly, or we're going to track our net profit or our net profit percentage. What percentages are you going to want to retain? Bottom line, 3 year, 1 year, quarterly. You might think I'm talking in Greek right now if this is not your thing, but that's, again, another important reason why you're here today and you want to learn. Sometimes we share things with you and we help you learn certain things that you didn't even think you needed to learn, because it's going to put you in a better position. So those are things to kind of think through. And then what's your cash position? What cash reserve do you want to be? Do you need to have 1 month of operating budget in the bank? Do you need to have 6 months? Should you leverage investors? Should you leverage bankers? Should you do it organically? These are things that take a lot of wisdom, and there's no one size fits all. That's why, having a relationship with someone that can kind of help take you through a process is important. So if you don't have your 3 year, 1 year, or quarterly financial projections in place right now, you're not planning well. You're not planning with great wisdom. And so we help with those things. Now, oh my gosh, 3 year, 1 year, and quarterly RPA goals. This is a proprietary goal setting process that we created. What are the results that you want, which is the R? What's the purpose behind it? And what's the activity, the A, to get to that goal? RPA goals. A lot of clients, they say, hey, the result that I want is 3 years from now, I want to have a team of 10 A players on my team. These are 10 team members that are absolutely awesome, both culturally, and they can do the job. So the result is, hired and trained and maintained a 10-person A player team. Now the purpose, what will be the purpose of that? What's the why? The why would be, maybe the owner wants to step away and not work as much. Maybe the why is the ability to scale up. Maybe the purpose or the why is to reduce your stress. And so what's the activity to get there? Well, the activity might be step number one is create job descriptions and job scorecards for all these different positions. Number two is to implement a fine hiring process that helps us hire A players, top talent. And so these are the things that we work on with people. You not only say the goals you want to accomplish 3 years from now, the results, but your purpose or why and the activity to get there. So if you don't have that for 3 years, 1 year, and quarterly, you're a little bit behind right now, honestly. And this is really important for you to think through. And again, if you don't have it, you're probably a part of 99% of businesses out there, if not 99.5%. People don't plan to this level, especially businesses that are less than 10 employees, or people that maybe have never had a formal education or don't have their MBA, or maybe you started a trade and you grew the business as a trade and you're at a point now you have employees, you have team members, you feel stuck. Listen, it's okay if you haven't done that yet, but if you're listening to this is going to be your kick in the butt or your encouragement to champion you to take massive action. The final thing we're going to kind of give an overview on today is quarterly critical metrics and organizational celebration. Listen, if you go to a game or you go to a sporting event or you're involved in any organization, you want to win. You want to keep score. And so how do you know you're going to win unless you keep score? Well, in a sporting event, they have a scoreboard. Well, this is the same thing with quarterly critical metrics. What is your scoreboard? How are you knowing that you're winning? Like, for example, a lot of team members or people that we work with, they will measure number of sales proposals per quarter. And we know that if we put out 20 or 40 or 100 sales proposals per quarter, we're going to put ourselves in a position to land 50% of those proposals. And if we land 50% of those proposals, we know that we're going to earn this amount of revenue. So quarterly critical metrics might be the things that proactively need to be done to put yourself in a position to hit your larger financial goals that we talked about for here. Or, quarterly critical metrics, as I gave an example earlier about hiring, it might be, we want to interview 10 qualified candidates this quarter. And if we interview 10 qualified candidates, it'll put us in a position to hire 1 A player. So again, this is the scoreboard. And a lot of times, even if you're with yourself or with a small company, it's crazy fun to create a visual, and a visual that you see what you're working towards, you measure it, you track it, and then at the end of the day, you celebrate. So when we hit this, we celebrate as a company, or as I celebrate as an individual by, this monetary reward, or going to a sporting event, or having a party, or going out to dinner with the company, or fill in the blank. And so that way you get yourself and your team synergistically around a certain metric, a certain goal, and then you celebrate when you hit that. So I know I talk fast because I get excited, especially when I'm talking to you, the small business entrepreneur that's listening to this and wants to grow and scale up their business. And so it doesn't matter if you're self-employed professional, 10 employee company, or you're much, much larger than that. We definitely have different programs and processes that help with you in different areas of your business, depending on what size you are. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of challenges that maybe you're going through right now. Again, some of the challenges is that you don't have enough time. And so you need to free up time so you can work on these things. These are challenges that you have. Maybe you have zero structure in your business and you feel like you're moving around in 1,000 different directions as the leader. You're getting pulled, you're putting out fires. It's overwhelming. I mean, these are common things for small businesses. Maybe you don't have the background of business and you don't know what you don't know. Maybe you were a technical expert in your field and you learned a lot technically, but you just don't know, or you've never learned or how to run a business. Or maybe you come from a different business and you have a bad example, because there's so many bad examples out there. And so you don't have a good model for growth. These are all major problems as the small business owners face every day. Or maybe you're tired of your business right now and you want to jump out and you want to quit, you want to give up right now because you're exhausted and you're tired and you're overworked and you're overwhelmed. You can change things today by creating a process where in the future the business can run without you, or maybe you're having so much fun right now and you're growing really quickly, but you don't want the party to start and you want to absolutely dominate your competition and you're already at the top of your game, but you want to be even better. Those sometimes are great people to engage in some of our processes as well. So I want to encourage you, I want to laud you, whether you are just getting started, whether you're small or whether you've been around for a while. What you're doing is important. It's important for your local community to create jobs. It's important, even if some people think your industry is not something that's valued. Listen, what you do is important. And so I just want to encourage you to take this information and start taking massive action on this. I would love for our team of entrepreneurial coaches at Entre Results to go a little bit deeper with you. Would love to connect with you on a quick phone call just to go over this in more detail. Maybe just a quick 30-minute call to answer some questions that you might have about what I covered today. Listen, there are so many questions you want to have. We're here to help. Listen, even when we connect on the phone, maybe you want to go to the next level and engage our services, or maybe you won't, but regardless, we are going to add massive value on a complimentary call. We love, all our coaches love working with entrepreneurs or leaders in the small business community. So anyway, check out our website at entreresults.com. Email me directly. I gave you my email address there, not even just the general email. As one of the co-founders of the company, you have access to my email, or call me directly. Call us at 281-808-0594. And make it the best day of your life. Take massive action on your business and look forward to talking to you soon.